Well, this year marks the ninth year Gwen's Girls and the Black Girls Equity Alliance will host She Matters. It's an event all about addressing the inequities impacting Black girls. This year, it's a week-long experience with everything from morning walks to wellness sessions and some real conversations about how young Black girls are seen. Joining us to share more are Dr. Kathy Elliott. She is the CEO of Gwen's Girls, along with Dr. Daniela Brissett. She is an associate professor specializing in adolescent medicine at UPMC Children's Hospital. And she is also the keynote speaker for the summit. Welcome, ladies, to
Thank you
Intersection.
for having us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mm.
So, Dr. Kathy, it's been 9 years, but just kind of
Yeah.
give us a little bit of how She Matters started
Mhm.
and where you think we are right now.
So She Matters, and just the Black Girls Equity Alliance was started back in 2016, following a report that was released in Allegheny County that highlighted the inequities that Black girls face here. Around that time, there were, many of us nonprofit leaders, as well as universities and foundations that wanted to take a closer look at what was happening with girls in the region. And surprisingly, but not so surprisingly, we found that there was a high number of overrepresentation in the various systems like the child welfare and the juvenile justice system, in education with the suspensions and just push out, and then in healthcare and health and wellness, just the disparities that existed there. And so from that, a group of us started to convene, and it's just a blessing that 9 years later, we still have the same folks volunteering their time and just coming and lending their expertise to help us to set policies and practices and have a greater understanding of how do we change the trajectory for not only just Black girls, but all girls and youth in our region.
Yeah. So what's going to happen during that week? And I know that you were telling me that the girls actually are part of this planning process.
Yeah. So through the Black Girls Equity Alliance, we have the Black Girls Leadership and Alliance group that started, and we want again for that inclusive voice of our young people. As we said, we can't do anything about them without them. We shouldn't be, but historically, systems and adults. That's what has happened, and so one of the things they wanted to focus on was just the trauma that they individually and personally have experienced, but they know that their peers have been dealing with, and looking at how can we do better as a community to address safety. At the same time, we also wanted to address the caregivers and the adults that are, the ones that are providing the supports and services, not getting burnt out and doing some self-care. So that's where the walks and the different webinars that we'll be having from Monday through Thursday, and then coming in person on Friday for the full day summit.
Yeah. And then Dr. Brissett, you're going to be the keynote speaker. How do you want to address, or what do you want to address with these young ladies, especially as it comes to this adultification matter?
I'm so glad you asked that question, particularly around adultification. And I think to best answer that, we have to first define childhood. Childhood is a time of learning, of growing, and developing from mistakes. And yet, many children are not allowed that privilege or that opportunity, and particularly Black girls, for many various forces, whether that's racism or sexism. And what we want for all youth is to thrive. And so my hope in talking on Friday is to do two things. One, with all the incredible adults there, to be like, you are champions of childhood. And what that looks like is listening and placing age-appropriate responsibilities, no longer having criminalization or even sexualization, which we've heard time and time again, Black girls deal with on their streets, in their communities, in their schools. For the youth that are there, I just want them to be celebrated, to be known that they are beautiful. You are more than your trauma. You are there, and there should be a spotlight when you're experiencing both joy and when you're thriving. And I think that's critically important.
Yeah. And then Dr. Elliott, there's also this piece with the HERE Foundation.
Yes.
Tell us about that part.
So, as we were planning our summit, we learned that there was, we were both having the same dates and, because we are partners, and that's truly the essence of what Black Girls Equity Alliance has been, is that we're a partnership. And so, instead of us being in person, for the summit, our own summit on Thursday, we, have encouraged and people have signed up to join the HERE Foundation in their conference on the Thursday, and that's going to be at Duquesne University.
Yeah. And then there's an awards piece
Yes,
to it as well.
absolutely.
We're showing some of that right now.
Mhm.
Tell us about the awards.
So this is just a way for us to promote and celebrate and recognize the folks that have really looked at how we can change the trajectory of our young people. And so we're just so excited to, be able to celebrate individuals as well as organizations that have been partners and that, again, have led the way of finding ways to celebrate our young people and our families. And as we previously talked about, not just focusing on the traumas, but the joys and all the things that we know that our young people and families are able to thrive from.
Yeah. And then the tickets are available online at
Yes.
bgeapgh.org.
Correct.
Correct. And this event is again going to be starting the week of October 10th.
So yes.
Make sure we'll double check.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's the 7th.
it starts the 7th.
Yeah.
So as we talked about the webinars and the morning walks and the different like activities throughout the week, but the actual summit is on the 10th and 11th.
Got it. All right. Thank
Yeah.
you both so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
All right.